Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Hello again, and welcome to my second video. First off, I want to thank each of you. Well, actually, first off, I want to apologize for that a cappella rendition. I couldn't figure out how to sync like the instrumental in with my voice. I remind you, I'm new at this. So first off, I wanted to thank each of you that watched my first video and subscribed. And to those of you that haven't, you mean nothing to me. Just plain. I'm really happy that you are spending a little part of your day with me. Today, I'm going to be discussing Point Pleasant, West Virginia, hence the rendition of the John Denver song. I love that song. I never even heard it until a few years back when I was working at a nursing home. They played it often during music therapy and it always made me happy to hear it. Let's start off with a little history about Point Pleasant. It was claimed in 1749 by a French explorer, although a Shawnee village had already existed in the area prior. In 1774, there was a battle between the Shawnee and the Virginia militia, who wanted to extend their boundary south of the Ohio River per a treaty signed by the Five Nations and Great Britain. But the Shawnee weren't included in the signing of the treaty that gave away their home and fought to keep it. The Shawnee were badly outnumbered and ultimately had no choice but to retreat. Chief Cornstalk signed a peace treaty that included giving up claims to what is now Kentucky and West Virginia. In the aftermath, Chief Cornstalk was committed to remaining neutral and keeping the peace with the colonists, although the Shawnees resisted giving up their land. The Point Pleasant battle is known by some as the first battle of the Revolutionary War, but the battles of Lexington and Concord in 1775 are the ones recognized as the first. In 1777, Chief Cornstalk, his son, and two other Shawnee members were detained at the fort built by the battle site in Point Pleasant. While detained, a person in a nearby hunting party was killed by unknown Indians, and an angry mob killed all four men in retaliation. This was a big loss, as Chief Cornstalk was seen by the colonists as a hope to get the neutrality of the Shawnee people. Chief Cornstalk is buried at the 2 Indy Way Battle Monument State Park, which is located downtown. Some say Chief Cornstalk cursed the area before he died, and it's the reason for the Mothman and other disasters. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about this guy. The Mothman is one of my favorite cryptids, and Point Pleasant is the mecca for the Mothman obsessed. I'm embarrassed to say that I hadn't even heard of the Mothman before the 2002 movie The Mothman Prophecies. The movie is inspired by the book of the same name written by John Keel in 1975 and discusses what took place in Point Pleasant during 1966 and 1967. I listened to the audiobook, which was filled with a bunch of eyewitness accounts relayed to him by the citizens of Point Pleasant. John Keel himself described numerous paranormal experiences, including seeing lights, UFOs, receiving strange telephone calls, and interactions with strange people that seemed to be human and could be men in black. John Keel did not see the Mothman firsthand, but states he was nearby during numerous sightings. I have to admit that I was a bit skeptical hearing these accounts, and I have a hard time believing all of them. Keel has been hailed as one of the best UFO writers there is, while others say he is unable to distinguish obvious hoaxes from more credible reports. So to break it down, there was a 13-month period from 1966 to 1967 when there were numerous sightings of a very tall winged humanoid with red glowing eyes, leaving witnesses with lapses in time, feeling dread, physical ailments, and fear, as well as lasting psychological distress. There were sightings before, but the one that is most talked about is when two young couples were out driving around the TNT area. This area used to have a manufacturing plant on it that produced TNT back in World War II. There are still old creepy igloos there that the munition was stored in. Back in 2010, one even blew up due to 20,000 pounds of unstable material. Okay, back to the couple. They were out cruising and saw a very tall human-looking thing with huge wings and red glowing eyes. They freaked out and sped off. They said the creature chased them and was keeping up with them even at the speed of 100 miles an hour. They got into town and reported the incident to the police, but nothing was found when they went to investigate. This incident kicked off a period of more than 100 sightings in the area. The sightings calmed down after the Silver Bridge collapse on December 15, 1967, which sadly killed 46 people. Many claim that the Mothman is a harbinger of doom and that similar beings have reported around the time of such catastrophes as Fukushima, Chernobyl, and another bridge collapse in Minnesota. Since 2011, there have been many reports of winged creatures, especially in the Chicago area, including many reports by airport employees at Chicago O'Hare. This is a cool map I found on the Netflix page for the Unsolved Mysteries episode on the Mothman that aired this year. It includes details from recent reports. I've linked the map in the comments below. Y'all check it out. It's really interesting. Some people believe that these creatures are simply sandhill cranes who roost in the area and whose wingspan can be over 7 feet and can stand as tall as 4.5 feet with red markings around their eyes. I feel like I would know a bird from a huge humanoid taller than me, but there have been reports that ended up being a sandhill crane. If you want to get the full Mothman experience, you really should plan your visit for the third weekend in September when the town holds the Mothman Festival. Since 2002, this small town has welcomed thousands of Mothman enthusiasts to a weekend full of speakers, tours, vendors, and cosplay. Admission is free, but some events and attractions have a fee. To simplify things, it's recommended to bring cash, as some things are cash only, such as the hay and wagon rides. Also, the internet is spotty and vendors could have issues processing payments. There are hay and wagon rides that are $5 and cash only. The hay rides can be purchased at the museum. The wagon rides take you through part of the farm museum, more on that in a minute, and the TNT area where the two couples from earlier reported to have been chased by the Mothman. There is also a bus tour of the TNT area for $24.95 where you can hear in-depth details and stories about the Mothman phenomena. Reservations for the bus tour can be purchased on the festival's website starting in the spring and usually sell out prior to the festival. The West Virginia State Farm Museum is worth checking out. It's where old buildings have been relocated, including log cabins, a blacksmith shop, as well as other old structures to demonstrate what life was like in the 1800s. There is a country store that I would be sure to check out as well, and a nature trail that leads to the TNT area. The Farm Museum is open April 1st to November 15th, but on Sundays only the grounds are open, not the buildings, and the whole thing is closed on Monday. While you're in town, you will of course want to visit the Mothman Museum. The museum houses props from the Mothman Prophecies movie, original police reports, news clippings, and Mothman souvenirs. It's open 7 days a week, except for holidays, and tickets are just $4.99 for ages 11 and up, and $1.99 for under 11. Also, the iconic Mothman statue is located right next to the museum. If you see some cans of baked beans left at the feet of the statue and wonder why, as best I could find, it's a reference to the game Fallout 76, which is set in West Virginia and includes the Mothman himself and a cult that worships him. I saw something lately about Mountain Dew and pizza rolls also being an offering. Not really sure how that one got started, but the town has asked in the past to kindly donate the beans to the shelter in town instead. Okay, so y'all need to make sure to book your hotel early because there is literally only one hotel in town. The rest are across the river and in nearby towns. The Lowe Hotel in Point Pleasant was just sold by the Finley family, who owned it since 1990. It's a really cool hotel built in 1901. It even has spaces for stores on the ground level. I love imagining daily traffic at these places in their prime. The sale is still pending, but I would think the new owner would be eager to reopen before the next festival. Hopefully they give it an update and pull out that carpet. I'm sorry, Lowe Hotel. The carpet wouldn't keep me away though. I love old hotels, so it would be my first pick. Here are a few sweet treats to get during your visit to Point Pleasant. At the festival, be sure to get the Mothman pancakes. Also, I saw that they hold a Mothman pancake eating contest. A local coffee shop called the Coffee Grinder sells these cute little cupcakes and cookies. Lastly, I wouldn't pass up something from the ice cream shop, What's the Scoop? They have several Mothman-inspired treats to choose from. I will end with Chief Cornstalk's curse, which might even be a myth, but I'll share it anyways. I was the borderman's friend. Many times I have saved him and his people from harm. I never warred with you, but only to protect our wigwams and lands. I refused to join your pale-faced enemies with the red coats. I came to the fort as your friend, and you murdered me. You have murdered by my side my young son. For this, may the curse of the Great Spirit rest upon this land. May it be blighted by nature. May it even be blighted in its hopes. May the strength of the people be paralyzed by the stain of our blood. Okay guys, when I first read that out loud, it choked me up, and by the third time, I was literally crying. I'm perimenopausal, so things hit extra hard. And now I hope I didn't just curse all y'all. But for real, his after story got to me. After the Battle of Point Pleasant, he really tried to keep the peace. He even was credited to have saved the lives of many settlers by warning them of incoming raids. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, you guys. I do my best to research everything thoroughly, so if I got something wrong, I blame the internet. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye.